I think a lot of people feel like they're holding in a lot of anger because I guess they feel like they can't talk about people that have passed away, that have hurt them, right? Because it's like, again, no, don't speak ill of the dead or whatever. So it's like they can't speak honestly. And it's like, no, say that shit. Say that shit.
So, I was supposed to do this video last month, but I was very busy, and I didn't like how it came out the first time, because I was really, like, distracted in the car, and one of the parts went missing, so it, like, messed up the story or whatever. So, I'm gonna do it now, and that way, not only are we going to talk about some things, you're going to be able to see me do every step of my plushies. So, last month, I was told, hopefully you can hear me, I was told that it was like Woman Abusive Awareness Month or something like that, right? Something along those lines. And so, for a while, I've been wanting to talk about my experience with my birth mother. Warning, from here on, it is going to be about drug use, alcohol abuse, women abuse, and possible child endangerment. Right? So, if you don't want to hear that, sorry, this video is not for you. Mute me and play some music if you want. Kind of definite trigger warning if you don't know how to talk about stuff like that. Anyway, I want to talk about my birth mother, and I say that because that's all she was. She was never really a mother to me, so, you know, that's what we're going to call her. I was thinking about making this private, but I feel like maybe other people might benefit from hearing, like, my point of view, and maybe feeling comfortable talking about their parent, who might be, you know, an alcoholic or a drug addict, or even just psychically, just, like, completely insane because of, like, mental issues, right? Oh, shit. Okay. Fuck. But anyway, she was, like, all of it. She was also, from what she said, she claimed to be schizophrenic. I do know that she probably had anxiety, bipolar, depression, anger issues, ADHD possibly. She felt like she was just out of it, right? And so alcohol and drugs does not help that either. But, you know, some people, you know, they choose wrong. And apparently addiction, I just recently learned, is an actual disease in the brain, that it pretty much is like a trigger in people, that they have addictive tendencies, right? And I think that might run in my family, because there is a couple of people in my family who were addicted to some shit, right? Not gonna say who or what, but, you know, it did happen a lot in my family. So, with that said, I'm gonna try and start from the beginning, before I even knew she was, like, on drugs or whatever. My mother never really had good taste in men. Now, I think this is maybe because there seems to be a thing. Now, no shade to my dad, because he's also dealing with his own things, and as an adult, I see that now. So, you know, I'm not holding him to this type of scrutiny, I guess, right? Because he is a good man, and I love my dad very much, and I'm happy that he is in my life now. But with that said, it seems to be, I hate to say it this way, but, like, tradition in my family that the dads are just not present. And mine, he, you know, trust me, it was in his better judgment not to stay with my mother. I understand. Like, I'm really happy that he went on and did better with himself, because if he would have stood with my mom and tried to like do the whole stay with her because she had your kid type of shit, we would probably be a broken family anyway. So, with that said, you know, a lot of us kind of just grew up without a dad. But when it came to like my birth mother, I can't remember too far back because I'm 33 now, so trying to go back into my log of memory, it's really hard. I really can't remember as much as I used to. She wasn't up for being a mother, right? I don't know why she kept me. I believe, you know, even though I know people love me and stuff like that, some people just aren't meant to be parents, and that's a whole nother fucking topic that I'm gonna get into another time. Like, some people should have just never had kids. And again, then me and my brother wouldn't be here, life would be different, right? But that still goes. Like, she was not meant to be a mother. She's not meant to be a mom. Very mentally unstable. And from what, you know, a long time ago, I'm sure, you know, my grandmother feels, you know, bad because, like, maybe she feels like some of it is her fault. Maybe to a small percentage. Like, I feel like they should have put maybe a little bit more pressure on her to be a mom and let her know, like, if we're not going to take care of you because you need to take care of your kid. You know, like, before my brother was born, like, you know, you had sex, this is, you have to pay for your consequence, right, type of thing. And maybe a little bit, but definitely not like a full part of, like, it is your fault why she is the way she is, or was the way she was, right? Because she passed away right before COVID hit. Like, she passed, and I'm pretty sure if she would have caught COVID, it would have been done. It would have been fucking over. Like, she still wouldn't be with us, because she'd be out in these streets. Anyway, not like that, but like, kind of like that. This is really thin. I don't know if you can see that. I don't like making it like that. So this kind of stuff I like to double up so it's stronger. So yeah, she wasn't meant to be a mother. Grandma said that she was working 2 jobs to support them, you know, and like, of course, I don't know when I was like a baby or whatever, so it's really hard for me to like thoroughly analyze how her behavior was. From what I hear, there was, you know, other people constantly babysitting me because she was always going out and, you know, being out and about, you know, because she was young or whatever, and grandma just kind of let her. Not that she could stop her anyway, because mom was like very, how can I put it, aggressive. She was a very aggressive type of person. Again, honestly, everything she has ever told me now is like, how can I believe you? I have to take it with like a grain of fucking salt, because ever since she told me that she was like diagnosed schizophrenic, she had told me once that because of this, she can't tell whether something really happened or if it was just a dream. So now, you know, everything, literally everything she has ever said to me or told me is like, it could be a fucking lie. Like, you're lying the whole fucking time, and that's just very, very fucking annoying. Just the thought of being lied to fucking annoys the living hell out of me. Like, it is one of my biggest fucking pet peeves. Like, I can't stand, even though, you know, I guess she basically has an excuse or whatever, but yet, from what I know, I don't think she was taking, like, schizophrenic medication. So, I don't know if that was a lie, just to kind of get her an excuse for her behavior. I don't fucking know. I don't know. It's just annoying. It's just a very annoying feeling when you feel like you can't fucking believe anything a person is saying. So, anyway, as far as I can remember is when, like, from, like, when I was 7 and up is the most that I can remember, because that's when my brother was born, and I pretty much was forced to live with people who did not care to have me in their house, right? Because I was not, technically, I wasn't family by blood or whatever. I wasn't this man's child, but, you know, I'm my brother's sister, and, you know, my mom was dating his dad, and, you know, I guess they felt, whatever, I guess mom asked them to take care of me, even though they never really did. Like, they really didn't give a fuck about me, from what I remember. You know, after living with them for a while, the doctors saw that I was, like, underweight and malnourished because they weren't taking care of me the way they was taking care of my brother. Right? So, okay, so this is what I did. I doubled up in the back, the black, right? So that it's thicker and healthier and will, you know, last longer. So, yeah, like, they didn't give a fuck about me at all. And, you know, my family is like, you got her living over there with those people. Oh, no. We're doing this backwards. Nope, 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 nope. Caught myself. Anyway, so I lived with them for a little bit. After a while, I kind of really hated being with them. I didn't like the way they treated me, how they, you know, how they just praised my brother so much, and, like, I don't know, it felt like they just didn't give a fuck about me. And so I, like, I cried to mom. I remember that one time, when she, I guess, was okay in the head, right, before she kind of started flipping, going crazy or whatever, because she had, like, her license, or maybe not, maybe I thought she had her license because she was driving a car, and she was driving me back home, which was with my brother, and I begged her not to take me back. I was just like, I don't want to be here, I don't want to live with them, I don't want to be around them, I hate them, they don't treat me right, I can't do this anymore. I just, like, cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried. And so, after that point, you know, my aunt, who I call mom now, fought for custody for me. And at first, you know, my mom did not like this idea. I don't know why, because it's not like after that, that's when shit kind of went wild. I remember she, like, took us to Boston when he was born at one point, and that was, I barely remember that whole, like, situation. I remember this one moment where she got mad at my brother's dad, and we cut up all his shit and lit it on fire in a metal garbage tin. And that's pretty much it. So, yeah, when we moved back, right, so we moved to Boston, came back, we lived with my mom and the man, my brother's dad, for a little bit, but they were always like arguing and, you know, fighting and shit. Typical ghetto family shit, right? Typical ghetto bullshit that people be going through. She wouldn't let me go to school by myself. I mean, it was like 3 blocks away, but I do believe it was like 2nd or 3rd grade, because she didn't feel like getting up and like taking me to school. I remember one time there was this lady, and she had like a bunch of kids with her. I don't know if they were her kids or she was just maybe helping the kids cross the street. But, you know, I walked up and she asked me, she was like, you know, sweetheart, are you by yourself? And I'm like, yeah, I live, you know, down the block, and mom lets me, you know, walk to school or whatever. And so I walked with her and the rest of the kids. Yeah. And, so yeah, that was a thing. If anyone knows from Jersey, it was the McKinley, Benjamin Franklin. Just to kind of put more elaborate detail into it, I guess. It was Benjamin Franklin, and we lived on, I think, Stone Street at the time, I think, for y'all New Jerseyans who know North New Jersey. But yeah, and then that didn't last too long, and then that's when I started living with, you know, my brother's family, because they couldn't afford to live on their own, and they couldn't afford to take care of us, or whatever the fuck ghetto shit they got into, right? And then there was this one man. I don't know if we lived with him or not, to be honest, and I kind of remember it, but I don't know how true the story is, to be honest. I don't really, I kind of feels like a dream, because I remember the house, I remember like the building kind of, and I remember like the bedroom, and then there was like a hallway, and that little hallway went into the kitchen, and mom always had the bat in the kitchen, right? And it's kind of, it feels like a dream, so I don't, to be honest, I don't know. But like, I think she was pregnant. I don't know if she miscarried that, or maybe she was pregnant with my brother, maybe, and maybe that's why he was mad, because it was before my brother was born, because he wasn't there. So again, I don't fucking barely remember. Like I said, possible child endangerment. Like, she was always dating men that put their hands on her, and I had to take the bat and I swung it and I hit him in his back, and I broke a couple things. For a while, even like into like maybe my, like after graduating high school, like I would literally have nightmares from like childhood into my teenage of me like running away from this house, like running away, feeling trapped in this home, and trying to find my way out of the house and running away to anywhere I can. And it was literally just repeated the same thing. I'm stuck in this house, can't find my way out. Once I do, I just run and escape. Like that. It was very interesting, very traumatizing. So yeah, once they had custody of me, I guess, I was living okay. I was alright, you know, but I still knew, like, my mom had issues. You know, my mom was a problem to the family, like, because I do believe she was maybe an alcoholic first, because she told me once that the doctor said if she ever has another drink again, that she will literally die, because her liver or something cannot take it because of so much alcohol poisoning, I guess. And so she had to stop drinking, otherwise that's it. Just one sip, that's it. But somehow that didn't stop her from like doing other shit. Now, she always smoked weed. Regardless, that was like always, but she never like stuck to it. I'm pretty sure she's done some other shit. Like, I know she was like a pill junkie. She was a pill popper, pill head, Percocets and Xanax and stuff. Yeah. So, even though, like, no one told me, so this is how oblivious I was. No one told me that she was like a drug addict on other stuff. So, in my mind, she was the way she was because of weed. Right? Like, because all I knew was that she smoked. So, you know, growing up, I thought that weed was terrible. That she was fucking crazy and, you know, this kind of weird, fucked up addict because of weed. Because nobody wanted to tell me the truth of how this woman really was. I'll get to that point later. Let's just say, we'll get to that later. And I hated it. I hated the fact that, you know, no one wanted to tell me the fucking truth, as if they wanted to give her the respect as mother to still have like this authority over me. And it's like, how the fuck are you gonna respect an addict? Like, I don't know. Raise your hand if you were also raised in a family that gives honor to a title and not something that was earned. Like, for some reason, it's this weird thing where it's like, oh, that's your dad, or that's your grandpa, that's your auntie, you know, that's whoever the fuck, you have to respect them. And it's like, why? If they don't treat me right, if they don't, you know, if they're not acting like family, why the fuck do I need to respect them? Who the fuck are they to earn, like, they didn't, or especially when it comes to a parent. Just because you gave birth or you created another human being does not give you the entitlement of automatic respect. Like, you need to earn that shit. And I don't understand why they just gave it to her. And, like, she demanded it. And I'm like, who the fuck? Like, really thinking about it now, it's like, who the fuck? You don't even respect yourself to do better for your kids, but yet you want me to respect you? What type of fuck shit is that? They're like, oh, but that's still your mother. No matter what, that's still your mother. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck. So because of this, she would have, like, visitation rights. And it got better as I got older, because I had, like, a choice, you know, in a way. So when I was really young, and we would have days for ourselves to go out and, you know, go to the park or get something to eat, you know, or go to downtown and chill in that area, there would be days where she would take me. Now, I knew the area, right? So it wasn't like in a place where if I didn't feel okay, I couldn't have just walked home. Like, it was always, and I know the street half of the time, a good 50% of the time, it would be in the same area. I think it's the one behind Clifton. If y'all know, y'all know. That little area there behind Clifton where Family Dollar sits at, right? Where Family Dollar is, behind Rotunda Pool. She would always make me sit outside somewhere and tell me to wait for her. Now, as a kid, I have no idea whether it was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30, 40. I have no idea, because, like, there's no sense of time, right, when you're a kid. And so I'd just be sitting in someone's random ass porch or standing on the block just by myself, waiting for whatever the fuck she was doing in whoever the fuck's house. And also, every Tom, Dick, Harry, Sally, Sue, Mrs., you know, Campy over here was family. Like, she would always tell me, oh, that's your cousin Sissy, or that's your Uncle Dan, and all this other shit. And they'd be strangers, right? They'd be strangers, you know, family from, like, the hood, right? One time, Mom, who's my aunt, but I call her Mom. She has custody of me since I was, like, 7, right? She said that I was, like, standing outside with some strange man. And she was, like, she pulled up and was like, what are you doing out here? And I was like, oh, this is Uncle Billy Bob, right? And she was like, no, who the fuck are you? And he's like, oh, I'm, like, friends of, you know, your sister or whatever. And I think she was in the store or in the house. I don't fucking know. I don't know what the fuck she was doing, because I really don't remember. I was told this story. And she was like, no, get in my car. That is not your uncle. He's like, you know, that ghetto shit, you know, trying to talk shit or whatever. And so, you know, she got fucking pissed, because this is pretty much how it was all the time. Always. Even though she was very, like, it was weird. Like, she would do shit like that, but she will also be very protective of me. Which I don't know. That just didn't make any sense to me. Like, you have me out here with you, with these people, and I guess you know these people, so you know the kind of life you're living, so you're still, like, not trusting them. But why would you bring me around that in the first place? Like, how, that's just, like, it's just hypocritical. Like, it just felt hypocritical. And, you know, we were always, you know, sleeping over one of her friend's house. And whatever, every time she had, like, a home or, like, a rented room, because, you know, now she gets, like, a disability check or something, you know, the place would be fucking disgusting. Oh my god, it was always some type of raggedy ass, bum ass fucking apartment, or bummy ass room in a basement, and it was just, I was so fucking sick of just being around that. And it's like, I'm not trying to, once I got older, I was like, I'm not staying here. We want to spend time, we can spend time hanging out, doing something, not this, whatever the fuck this is. You know, like, it was the, I hated it so fucking much. So anyway, you know, in my teen years, I'm, you know, coming into my own or whatever, and so Mom, you know, would talk to me a little more, whatever. And I wasn't involved in any of, like, her relationships anymore. Like, she actually found someone who was willing to put up with her shit and stayed with her, and didn't, like, really abuse her. I thought maybe they would live a better life, because he seemed more mentally stable than her, but they were always homeless, and they was always, like, I don't know, on the streets. They was always on the fucking streets, and everyone fucking knew her. Like, no matter what fucking part we went to, she knew somebody. And she stayed with this man for 10 years, which, you know, good for him. Because, like, even her own family couldn't, like, deal with her. So, you know, and she would always make, like, she had great moments, but that's all they were. It was, like, just a moment, and it's like, oh, well, that's what counts. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. I don't believe that that's what counts. Like, especially if you're a parent. Like, you had just good moments where, you know, it seemed like she wasn't on drugs or whatever, and she felt like a normal person, and, like, I can talk to her, and, like, she felt like a mom, right? But, you know, again, and because of these moments, in these little high moments that she would have, she'd always make these promises, but never keep them. And I think that's why maybe I am as tough as I am, and why as closed off as I am, and very not trusting of people. Like, I don't believe people until they show me who they are. Like, you can talk all that shit all you want. You can say all that shit all you want. But, like, if I don't see it, baby, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about what you say about yourself. I don't see it. So, if your words and your actions don't match, trust me, I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention. If you're a fucking liar type of person, I'm paying attention. So, you know, I think because of her constantly breaking promises, especially like as a kid, you know, adults are like the superpower. When you're growing up, all you want to do is be an adult, right? And you see your parents and your grandparents and like the older, you know, all the adults, they're supposed to be the ones that guide you, that teach you, that help you through life and learn what life really is. And when it comes to it being your parent doing this and they fail at it, sometimes, you know, a moment it feels like maybe it's you. So when you're like, when I was like a little girl, if it like pinky promises, like she made it seem like if you pinky promised, you cannot break that bond, right? It was something that cannot be broken, and no matter how many times she had broken a promise, every time she promised me something, I believed her. I would believe her every time. And even after all this, there was a point where, as a teenager, I thought that I can make her better. I thought that I would be the one to take care of her. I would be the one to help her get out of whatever the fuck she was in, right? I even tried and have her boyfriend, who was there, right, not live with us. And I succeeded, but he still ended up coming anyway. Which at the time made me really fucking pissed, because it's like, you really can't go without a fucking man in your life. Like, I came in to try and take care of you, to be there for you, and you can't even, like, let go of... Like, anyway, that was when I started, you know, that's when I graduated high school, and I moved in with her, and my grandmother tried really hard to stop me. She really did. And maybe if people were honest with me, I'm sorry, but I put them to blame. I do blame them. If they were just honest with the kind of person that she was and who she really was, I wouldn't have to deal with the bullshit. But at the same time, it's like, would I have believed them? Maybe, if they sat me down. Like, they would just, to me, they were just talking shit, right? Because my mom, my whole life, always told me, they just want to keep you away from me. You know, they don't want you to love me or whatever. Like, really, really gaslighting me and manipulating everything. Always with the fucking manipulation. All the fucking time. Bro, I think back and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? I was being gaslighted by my own fucking mother. So, you know, with that, I was just like, no, I'm going to be the one to take care of her because nobody else cares to take care of her, right? And she fed into that, and she kept, you know, putting in the poison and kept, you know, putting that in me, right? Unbeknownst to me, she was the problem. She was the issue. She was the drama. She was the nonsense, right? So, after I graduated and I decided I wanted to live with my beautiful, dear old mother, that's when I found out the hard way that she was a fucking asshole. And I don't care, I'm a grown-ass fucking person, and that's what the fuck I'm gonna say. Because that's exactly what she was. A fucking liar and a manipulator, always trying to be the fucking victim. Even though you know your fucking actions very clearly, and no matter how many times they try to put you into rehab, you always ran away from it. Like, you always did something else. Like, somehow you just... Oh, it wasn't for me. I didn't like it. Okay, Felicia. Trying to talk and work at the same time got me fucking flipped. Okay, hold on. Right. I decided I wanted to take care of her. That didn't work. Because they were always arguing, always getting into some shit. And now that looking back, that it's probably all her fault because she was always on some dumb shit anyway. So, you know, he was just constantly arguing with her and constantly fighting with her. And there was always some fucking bullshit. And, like, we had a nice apartment, but, like, I was sleeping in the living room because they couldn't fit all of us. And then for some reason we got pushed back to the basement because I guess it was cheaper maybe. And my bedroom had a sewage hole, like a sewage tunnel or something. And at the time I was like, whatever, it's my own room. And it had some pretty cool graffiti like on the walls or whatever. But, you know, thinking about it now is like, it was fucking disgusting. It was fucking disgusting. And they were always arguing over some dumb shit. And then his daughter tried to move in. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me with this fucking bullshit right now. And, you know, for a period of time, I had to share my room with her. And then as I was working, every time, you know, she would always come to my job and constantly ask for money. Or she would constantly steal my money from my room. Because I would make tips at the job that I worked at, which was Dunkin'. And we, you know, we would get tips every day. So, yeah. And so I thought, let me just tell her that it'd be easier if it was just me and her. Right? It was almost successful, but not fully. Not fully. Because again, she cannot fucking live without a man. So, we found an apartment just for us. And, you know, I was young, I was working, I was doing my own thing. So, I was always out of the house. Paid my stuff. Made sure rent was done and, you know, whatever else I had to pay for, my phone and shit like that. But I also had a group of friends, so I wanted to be fucking out. And she didn't like that. She was like, you're never home, right? And so I think that's what she needed. Like, she needed someone to be with her 24/7. And it's like, you're not handicapped. You're a grown-ass person. You don't need someone to be with you all the time. But I'm guessing that was her sickness, right? And, you know, that guy, her man, could give that to her because he lives the same life that she lives. You know, but at the time, I'm like, you can't handle it just being us. You know? I can barely fucking remember anyway. So, yeah. I got tired of her constantly stealing from me and taking my money, or constantly coming to my job and asking for money when I'm fucking working. Like, the fuck are you doing? And she would always, like, cause a scene. Like, causing a scene was, like, her favorite fucking thing to do, and it was very fucking annoying. Like, you old as fuck. Like, why the fuck are you causing a scene like you're a fucking 10-year-old? Like, that shit is fucking annoying. And so I told Grandma, I'm moving out. And she got mad. Oh, she said she was gonna stalk me, that no matter where I went, she will always find me. Like, she left a message, and my friend looked at me, like, we both heard this message together, and she was like, bro, your mom is fucking nuts. Why the fuck would she say that? So, anyway, right? After I found a roommate and I started living on my own, again, this didn't stop her from coming to my job asking for money. Grandma had to step in and literally tell her to leave me the fuck alone because I can lose my job because of this, and that if she needs money, just go to her, because I was fucking done. Like, I was officially done with the bullshit and the fucking lying and the stealing and the constant ghetto friends coming to the fucking house, fucking being loud, knowing that I got fucking work and shit like that. So I was just done. And there was one time where I didn't want to give her no money, and she literally tried to argue with me at my job. And so I had to ask my boss. I was like, can you please just give me a minute? I'll be right back. I need to talk to my mother. And he was like, okay. You know, he understood. But if it kept happening again and again, he's like, you know, this cannot happen all the time. You know, this is not a good image or whatever for the store or whatever. Okay. And so I was like, I don't have it. And she was like, you work, of course you have it. And I was like, no, you do this to me all the fucking time. I'm not giving you fucking nothing. And oh, also another time, I don't remember if I gave her the number to my credit card, to my debit card, but she stole $2,000 from me. I had saved up hella fucking money, and she somehow, I went to check my account one day, and it said it was like empty. I was like, what the fuck? And then, like, literally that next morning, I was getting ready for work. There was a note on the table asking for an apology. She was like, I'm sorry. I had to clear my boyfriend's debts. The man she was dating had debts, and she had to pay his shit off. And I was like, I was staring at the notebook, and she was sleeping, because this was the time we were sharing a room before we had our place to ourselves. I was looking at it, and I wanted to beat the fucking shit out of her. Like, I have never been so fucking angry. And that was another just like, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. So, you know, after that, I finally moved out, and she tried to take my laptop from me. I don't know what the fuck she was planning on doing, but I had worked hard to pay for my first, like, laptop, and it was red. We'll never fucking forget that. And she literally hid it from me, and I literally have to go to grandma and, you know, tell grandma, like, I need my fucking laptop. Like, why the fuck? Like, I know where the fuck I put it. I even trashed her room looking through it, trying to find my fucking laptop. And the very last day that I was moving all my stuff out, she came stomping in like she was so fucking angry and was like, here, your laptop. And I was like, I knew you fucking had it. Like, what the fuck? So, anyway, you know, I got my own place or whatever. After that, that was like the tipping point of where I was like officially done. Like, I did not want to deal with her or any of her fucking shit anymore. After a few years, I kind of went out on my own life or whatever, making whatever decisions I was making, right? I haven't spoken to her. I literally left her alone for years because I was just tired of her constant in and out, back and forth. I'm gonna do better and never do type of shit. Then, you know, we moved to Florida. And again, grandma tried to get her to move in with us, and I was like, no. I didn't know. She's still on her same fucking ghetto socialite life. She's not doing any better with herself. I did not want her moving in with us. And so after a couple years, some random ass, like, family friend. I don't even know who the fuck this woman is. Came out of nowhere and decided to help her. She was like, I think it was PA or something. I think she lived in PA or somewhere farther in New Jersey, like away from Newark, right? And she was, again, she couldn't get past 3 months. She couldn't get fucking past 3 fucking months of doing better. It would always fail after the 3rd month. She would always just go right back to the nonsense. I guess you can say she was, like, trying, because I would, like, be talking to grandma. Like, I remember one Christmas, I sent, like, a silly photo to grandma, and she sent me a photo of her and mom together. And, you know, mom was making a silly face back, and she looked dead. It was nice to have, like, a photo of them, too, but I didn't want to keep that photo because her skin was gray, and her eyes were dark, and in my head, I'm like, I'm looking at an actual fucking zombie right now. And that's crazy, because that was the time where she was, like, trying to do better for herself, right? Like, she was like, trying to do better for herself. And you would think she would look healthy. She would look, like, anyway. The fuck? Alright, she looked dead, and, like, the photo just made me, like, it was sweet, but it still made me uncomfortable. Like, it just made me very uncomfortable, and I was like, oh my god, what the fuck happened to this woman? And then, right after that, that's when she died. Literally right before the drop of, like, COVID. Yeah, I was told, right, that she was found OD'd. After, again, 3 months of her doing well for herself, right? So, can you tell I'm annoyed? Can you tell that I'm annoyed at this situation? Because it's fucking stupid. So yeah, I will never forget it. I was on the game, right? I was playing on my, I think it was my Xbox, and I was playing with somebody, and we were talking, and all of a sudden, I get a knock at my door, and it's mom, and she's like, no, your mom is dead. And I'm like, what? She's like, I just got the call from grandma. They just found her OD'd. And I was like, it was a shock. Like, it's crazy, because, like, we're always making jokes talking about how, I bet you, like, the addicts are gonna be the ones that outlive us all, right? Wouldn't that be the fucking joke of it, that they're gonna live longer than us, right? And, like, we were always, like, expecting it. Like, we were kind of, like, just waiting, but, like, when it actually happens, when it's actually that random, it really feels like, oh shit. Like, death is just a definite eye-opener, for sure. And if it doesn't open up your eyes and make you see the world differently, then I don't know what kind of human being you are. But yeah, like, so we got the call, right? And it was literally the day before, because when grandma found out from the cops, she was so distraught by the news that she had taken, like, one of her sleeping pills, because she was just, like, so beside herself with emotion. She took one of her sleeping pills and just went to sleep, because it was, like, at 11 o'clock at night. No, like, she called us at, like, 11 o'clock. She slept the entire day, that whole day. Like, that day she got called, she slept all day. And then when she finally woke up, that's when she picked up the phone and called us. And from what I heard, or what we know, she came down for a doctor's visit, right? And normally it's just the one day. And for some reason she wanted to spend the weekend. And grandma was like, sure. Maybe grandma felt, you know, proud of her, and she's doing so good, and giving her, you know, full benefit of the doubt that, you know, she's changed. I wouldn't have. Like, I wouldn't have trusted her so easily because of her record. But, you know, that, again, someone with no kids don't understand what it is when it comes to having a kid, which is another fucking topic I want to get into. Anyway, you know, that's my daughter, and she's finally doing better, right? And so when she came down, she told her that she wanted to go see a friend or something. I would have said, you're out of your fucking mind. You are in a healing process. You are basically in a self-made rehab with this family friend or whatever. There's no way in fucking hell you are going out in these fucking streets. You're out of your mind. The fact that she even thought to even do that with these so-called friends, like, bitch, you ain't got no fucking friends. Ain't none of these fucking friends was out here for you, trying to make you a better person. You were out here doing all this shit with them. Like, ain't nobody the fuck out here your friend or your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck out of here. But again, maybe grandma didn't want no fucking conflict. She's old. She ain't got the energy to put up with the fucking nonsense, right? So, you know, she went and visit whoever the fuck. I don't know who the fuck it was. She went to go visit. And then, I don't know how long it was, but a few hours, I'm guessing. And grandma got the call from the cops saying that they found her in someone's house or an abandoned house, or she went to visit someone. I don't fucking know. For some reason, I remember two different stories, and like the story, I don't know. I'm confused, in all honesty. I don't fucking know. But they found her OD'd, and she died, right? So, you know, we go through all the fucking emotions, and I'm more angry than, like, sad or hurt. Because in my head, I'm like, again, I'm going to talk however the fuck I want, because I think I waited long enough to talk about this, because that's another thing, the hypocrisy about talking about people that have passed. Trigger warning, if you don't like talking about the real facts about someone and their life and the person they was after they died, and only trying to sugarcoat who they really was, fuck on. You can go the fuck on. Bye. Because I'm here to talk about the real shit. And I was just fucking angry. Like, you a dumb fucking bitch. You know the kind of life you could have had? We may have never gotten back that mother-daughter bond or whatever. But at least you would have done better for yourself. Right? You could have done so much better. You actually had, instead of like going to a rehab full of fucking doctors and shit, maybe that's what made her uncomfortable, that she's like feeling like she's stuck, you know, in a crazy home, which is another fucking story I want to tell you about. I went to see her in a crazy home once, and that was interesting. I don't remember what the fuck she went in. I think maybe killing herself or trying to kill herself or something. I don't know. She was in a psych ward or something, and kids weren't allowed. And at the time, I was really young. Like, I was before a teenager, right? So I was like a kid. And I was just really upset. Again, I'm oblivious to who she really was. I'm thinking, again, the story she would tell me, like, they're the ones taking care of me, but yet you're telling me they're horrible people, that they just want to keep us apart, and all this stuff. But, like, as a kid, you're not thinking, well, why aren't you taking care of me? You know what I'm saying? You're not thinking, all you think is, oh my God, you know, that's mom, and, you know, everything she says is true, right? So, I'm there, and I'm just, like, really sad that I can't see my mom, and she throws a fucking fit. Right, she starts breaking the stuff in the fucking room and all this shit, and the doctors are like, her kids are the only thing that can calm her down. Which is weird, because, like, you don't even take care of us. right? Like, you don't even fucking take care of us, but yet we're like the light of your life. You hypocrite. Like, it's such a, I don't understand. Maybe someone else can explain it to me in some type of psychological explanation, but like, if it doesn't make sense to me, like, that just, the fuck. So anyway, the sewing machine is gonna be loud, so I'm not gonna talk while doing that. So I'm just gonna get the topic out of the way now before I start sewing stuff together and, you know, making my little demon baby. So yeah, you know, she made a whole scene, and they finally let me see her. And that night I kind of cried, seeing her in this weird uniform, like this white on white uniform, and knowing that, like, my mom was in a crazy home. And I'm gonna get to that crazy part in a moment. You know, that's just a little side story. It, like, you know, it freaked me out a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, back to her being, you know, her passing. You know, we all went through the emotions, we all was sad and all that shit. Right, so, you know, we're all going through the emotions and having to figure out her funeral and her wake and all that other stuff. And since then, all I can just obsess over is the why. And I know people like, oh, that's not gonna bring her back, or that might not bring you clarity. And I'm like, you don't know that. You don't know what it might do for me. So I still, maybe I need to just let that go. Because it's like, why? Like, what were you going through that you were doing so fucking well, and now you just want to let it all go? Like, you just let everything kind of take hold of you and, like, pretty much ruin everything that you could have had, you know? And it's like, that just really annoys me. Like, it really fucking, it drives me fucking crazy not knowing the why, right? And, you know, the day of her, I don't know whether it's, I think the funeral is the burial, and then the wake is when you gather around or something. I don't fucking know. But when you're there and they're in the casket and you're, you know, doing the little ceremony or whatever, there were actually a lot of people there. She went through her life thinking that nobody gave a fuck about her, thinking that the family hated her, and that everyone, like, we just was not happy with you. Like, everyone who mattered tried to help you, and you didn't let us. You didn't let us help at all. And that was your fault, not ours. And, you know, all these people from the fucking streets and shit, even though they went to your funeral, who was there to actually help you? Who was trying to make you better? All these people's houses you got to stay in, all these fucking, again, Tom, Dick, Harry, Sally, Sue, cousin Titi, Miss, you know, Kiki from down the fucking street. Like, none of them was trying to help you the way we were trying to help you. But yet, all of them were there for your funeral. Like, all of them were there because you passed away. Like, and then there were some people who were there that shouldn't have been there. Like, you didn't give two fucks about her. You couldn't care less. Like, why the fuck are you here? You know what I'm saying? And, like, the people that showed that I didn't think was gonna show, those are the people that I wanted to be there. You know, like my dad, you know, and my cousin. You know, she came from fucking New York, you know, but the other people who really didn't give a fuck about her, yeah, you know, the people that were there, they shouldn't have been there. Like, why the fuck are you here? Like,
And to top it off, not even to top it off, there was one of my exes was there. And it's because he knew the man that was like one of my mom's, like, I guess, OGs. Like, it was maybe 3 of the people that were like family friends that we knew very well, that if we couldn't find her, we knew that she would be with them. Like, he knew them. So since they came, he came. And I was just... I have to laugh about it. Because I don't know what he thought that was going to do for us. I don't know what he thought was going to happen by being there for my mom or whatever. But, yeah. And then another moment that, like... Granted, I am grateful for my aunt and my grandmother taking care of me. Like, they were both my mother. They played a very big role of, you know, raising me. But, like, once you're an adult and you come into your own, that's it. Like, there's no more thanking you for that, you know? Like, you did your job. Now whatever choices I make is on me, right? So... this one girl, when it was time to, you know, for people to talk about her, she was always a mother to everyone else's kids but us. Like, she could take care of everybody else but her very own kids. And I think it's because it was the lack of actual responsibility. Like, it was, again, one of her moments of feeling like, I'm an irresponsible adult, kids love me, but yet you couldn't hold on to that responsibility to raise your own fucking kids and do better for yourself. So when she went up and decided, you know, to speak on her behalf and say that she was like a mother to me and she was always there for me, that lit a fire under my fucking ass. Like, I had to bite down so fucking hard. Now, there's a show that I saw where the son was pretty much in the same position that I was. His mother was an addict, and he couldn't stand her, though. Like, he just was done with her, and when she passed away, disrespectfully, he blacked out in front of everybody at her, like, wake or whatever. Like, he let it rip of the type of person she was, how much of an asshole she was. She didn't raise her kids, she was an addict, she did all this while the whole family was there. To me, that's wrong. But in that moment, I wanted to do the same thing. Like, I understand we wanted to hold on to all of the happy moments, but it's like, I don't have a lot of happy moments. I don't. And maybe that's partially my fault, but it's only a very small part. A big part is because of her. It's her fucking fault. And I didn't want to create fake moments either. Like, she was still living the life she was living, still doing whatever fucking drugs or whatever she was doing, and still living that ghetto life. I didn't want to be around her at all. Like, making fake moments, acting like I'm happy. And I have some, like, we have photos together and stuff. But those weren't real moments. So I don't have a lot of happy moments to hold on to. Granted, she was kind-hearted. She was sympathetic and empathetic. She was a character for sure. And she was probably the realest, and I mean the realest person, even though, again, lying and manipulating is not being real. She was so fucking honest to everybody. So, there's that, right? So yeah, after all that, like, for a while, I was, how can I put it, trying to make peace with everything, I feel like I went backwards. Like, I was okay, and I forgave her for quite a while. You know, I forgave her, and then, like, I saw a video, and, like, I still forgive her, but it still doesn't hold the fact that I'm not gonna act like she was an angel in heaven, especially after she died. Like, that's hypocritical. I'm sorry. Like, we don't know if that is what you believe, right? If that's what you believe, if she honestly asked for forgiveness, because that's what she believed, as fucked up of a person that she was a Jesus person. And because of that, I'm pretty sure, you know, in her mind, she's either going to heaven or hell after she dies, right? But it's like, none of us human beings know if she is or not. Like, none of us know if she actually asked for forgiveness and is in heaven. I think that's just something for us to feel better about, you know? And I think that's what kind of triggered my reality of being okay with, she made her choice. Even though I don't believe it, that's what she believed. I'm not sugarcoating anymore. I'm not, maybe if, you know, the topic comes up of, like, silly moments that we had together, you know, that's fine. But the cold hard truth is that I need to make peace, saying, like, I don't love my mom. Like, I would say I love you to her all the time, but, like, really analyzing myself and understanding how I really feel. And it's like, I guess I felt the pressure of everyone else. Like, me, like, everyone else feels like making peace is, you know, sweet and lighthearted. And it's like, I made peace with understanding that I don't love her the way I used to love her. And I'm not going to constantly just sugarcoat all her stories just because she's dead. You know, speak peace of, don't speak ill of the dead. And it's like, it's not, it's the truth. So, I think I've waited long enough to talk about this and my feelings on it. And honestly, through all this shit, I'm surprised nothing's ever really happened to me. Not that I can remember. Honestly, I don't remember. Like I said, she was kind of a weird mama bear. So I don't know if it's just my subconscious trying to block my memory if something bad actually happened to me. But I don't really remember. It was just being in really fucked up situations, you know, like being really in the situation kids shouldn't be in, you know. I've made my peace, and I think everyone else needs to understand that they don't have to be comfortable with the kind of peace that I've made with it. I don't care if it offends you. I don't care if you're mad. I don't care what you have to say about it. It's not your life. It's mine. And that's just how I feel about it. I think moving on and kind of actually forgetting everything, because that's pretty much what it felt like. I felt like I was just already living like she was dead anyway and not wanting anything to do with her. Let me know. I feel like my making peace is just letting go. Just let it go. Let it go. Kind of understanding we're never going to get the clarity of understanding why she did what she did, why she acted the way she acted, what was true, what was not, and just moving on with my life, which I've been trying to do. So, yeah, I think a lot of people feel like they're holding in a lot of anger because I guess they feel like they can't talk about people that have passed away, that have hurt them, right? Because it's like, again, no, don't speak ill of the dead or whatever. So it's like they can't speak honestly. And it's like, no, say that shit. Say that shit. Because saying that helps other people to stop being fake. Like, let's stop. Stop lying about who they are. Stop lying about the person, that the shit that they did to us. Like, just stop. Just be honest, you know? Yeah. That's all I have to say about that.